first thing that everyone needs to know about Gen Y is that we're not just Gen Y as in the letter, but Gen WHY. And I think if you remember that this is Gen WHY, you can solve a lot of the problems that you might have with this generation. This is a group of people who, if you can answer the question that they have, will do almost anything that you want them to do. It's folks who are used to getting information all the time and who are used to having a lot of structure. So to the extent that you can let them know what you expect and then help them to evaluate their performance in the long term and really work toward common goals, you're really going to be able to have a lot of success with this group. So I think that is the number one thing that I want folks to take away from any presentation that I do, that Gen Y is not only Gen WHY, they're a group of people that can be reasoned with and that can be molded, and that actually can be molded to really great effect if you understand their mindset. Gen Y is never going to do anything because you told them to. And in fact, when you say do it because I told you so, you're actually prompting them to go in and push you even further than you're willing to go, because that's a flag to them that you're just doing the routine thing. And a lot of times, parents and executives have trouble with that because they think, I'm telling you this because I know. And what I say to them is, if you can't answer that question, if you can't answer why you do it that way, it's a good moment for you to go back and evaluate, because maybe there's something to be said for interrogating that process or that thing that you're doing. And that's a huge advantage of having young people come into your world who are looking at things a bit differently and bringing to that experience something that you just could not possibly bring because you've been in it for so long. We talked today about Generation Y, and what's interesting with Gen Y with respect to this group of educators is that the youngest Yers are actually in school being educated at this time, and the oldest ones are probably the parents of young people coming into the school system. So you're dealing with Yers across the range. You're also recruiting Yers to be your teachers. Obviously, they're your parents, and they're also your students. So there are a lot of challenges that kind of come with this group, and many of them stem from this idea of entitlement, this notion that Gen Y just wants to show up and do well all the time and be given everything. And so I sort of started from a place of talking about why that is. The fact that it's not entirely true. It's really a generation that's looking to be fulfilled. And we learned that from our boomer parents. And that's a positive thing. We want young people to go into the work environment looking for a rewarding experience. But how do we prepare them to find that? How do we help them to find the balance in that so that they're not just looking for excitement all the time, but really willing to put in the work and the time that it takes to actually develop those experiences over the long term? And most importantly, how do we take those youngest kids and really prepare them for life in the long term in a world that's changing every day? Communication and technology are changing every minute. As we see even at the convention right now, there are tools that we're using here that we wouldn't have used even last year. So when you have 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds coming into a school environment where not only are they using those tools, but those tools are integrated into their lives, they've never known a world without them, it's really important that we not only think critically about how to integrate those tools, but really how to anticipate the challenges that come from that. So really our discussion was around looking to the future and crafting the best possible person so that when that young person grows up to go work at a major corporation or go run a major corporation or to go be a parent him or herself, he's really coming to it with the best suite of tools and a real self-awareness that many people think this generation doesn't have, but I think we can really build.